You can even see them shooting off the edge right there. Look how many are shooting off, and they're coming straight over here, all over the place. Let's see if I can zoom in closer. Okay, that's a bit closer. Just look at that action. So for anybody that has any doubts or misconceptions that that's a rock in space, there's no rock there. It's an orb cluster. It's composed of all these alien entities that are here, and they're not going to go away. Not anytime soon, until they finish their business here. Look at the jerks it's making. I'm not touching the camera. Look at this. Okay? This is the motion of the moon. Look, it's going back. It's going back and jerking around. You gotta stop smoking. Excuse me. But look at the jerking motions it's making. It's holding a hover right over downtown Toronto. Just look at the jerking motions it's making. Check that out. This is even more than last night. I spoke too soon when I said it was going in the right direction. I take that back. It's worse than ever. This is what I usually see when I'm not filming it. I'm surprised it's actually doing it on camera, because it must think I'm over at my house and not here. Just let that stay for a while. At this high power zoom, that thing should have been off the screen a real long time ago. Just look at the edge. You see the edge? Look at the orbs shooting off of it. It's shedding them. Guess where they're all coming? It's like spraying our planet through these things. You can just see them in the clusters in the air all around. So what that moon hologram is, although it's a super cluster, it's still part of a larger cluster out in space. That's who knows how big it is. But look at the jerking motions it's making. I'm not touching the camera now. Look at that. Check that out. This is unbelievable, even for me to watch. And I've seen a lot of these, but this is really unbelievable what it's doing tonight. This is the first that it's doing on camera. I've seen this with my eyes, but never on camera. Not this much. And it's all that activity inside the nucleus, which is the moon hologram is the nucleus of a larger cluster that's making it shake like that and jerk around. Every now and then it goes on its normal course, or the supposedly normal course. Let's see. You can see all the orb clusters there, and they look small, but you know, considering the distance from me to there, those are really huge. They're much bigger than the ones we see here and that I film down here on Earth. Those are huge. They just look small in comparison to the supercluster. Let's see if it's going to jerk around some more. I'll go over here. Oh, look at the top. Wait, I gotta catch this. Gotta catch the top. Okay, so that's the surface of the hologram. Look at all the orb action. You see how they hold the perimeter? They're lined up all around the perimeter, and that red line there is the force field that's holding all of them together, so that they look like the moon is supposed or used to look like. You can see the large clusters right there at the top, right along the edge. And as they move, I mean, as the hologram moves, you can see more clusters. And what they're doing is they're going around the circumference real fast. Millions and billions of them. Okay, so I'm going to go to a spot that's not so lit up. Okay, here's a large cluster. Let's see if I can put the camera on that. It just jerked out of the way. Look at that. Wow. Look at those jerks. I'm not touching the camera. And look at all the orbs. Every one of those is a large cluster. Okay, they don't have small ones inside the hologram. If they do, they're too small to see from this far away. These are all giant size. And there's the force field. You see, it's created by orbs themselves. And just look at them shoot off. So as it goes over our planet or around our planet, it just sheds these things off. And they're overpopulating our planet that way. It's like seeding the planet with these things. And that's what they look like in space. The space is full of them. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit. Try and catch some of those jerky motions on a smaller screen. Look at that. Check it out. Those are the jerks that it was making before, you see? Look at that. Whoa, it's gonna go off the screen backwards. Just unreal. Unreal. I said before, it's making me question the entire nature of our reality. This whole thing. Everything I thought I knew and believed in just isn't so. I can't believe anything anymore. Just look at that. Does that look like the motion of a heavenly body or a celestial object? It's unbelievable. I'm just going to get it, now I'm going to move the camera just to get it inside the screen so we can see the whole thing. I'm not touching the camera anymore. Check that out. Look at that. And that's a huge thing. And for a huge thing like that to be jerking around like that, those are big moves. Wow, look at that, it's going backwards. What it's doing is hovering, and it can't maintain a steady hover because it's so big. It just can't maintain a steady hover where it doesn't move at all. And even then, that would be strange because it's supposed to be moving from left to right in a smooth fashion, because that would be the course of its orbit around our planet. It is supposed to be our moon, but it's far from that. I'm going to touch the camera. Okay, get it even smaller. Let's see what it looks like in a smaller frame. I'm off the camera, I'm not touching it. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's not windy tonight. It's chilly, but it's not windy. And nothing is moving the camera, and I'm not touching it. And you can tell that at any range or at any zoom position, it's doing the same thing. What it's doing is not following. They're moving, and there's lots of clusters all over, one next to the other, and smaller ones in between. The whole thing is a biomass filled with clusters, because that's what this type of entity is all about. It's all about clusters. Now, here's a farther away shot. You can see that some of the orbs are above the surface of the hologram, or right on the outer edges of the hologram, and the hologram itself is in layers, millions of layers of orbs, one on top of the other, and they're all moving counterclockwise in 360 by 360 by 360, and who knows in how many dimensional pathways of 360. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. I'm not touching the camera. Did you see that? Look at that. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. It is really jerking tonight. I made a video, the Humber Jitterbug. This is the moon hologram jitterbug. It's the new moon dance. No wonder the natives had a moon dance. They must have seen the moon in action and copied it. It must have been doing this a long time ago. Hold on. And just back off. I'm going to center it. I want to see what's in the center. Okay. I'm not touching the camera right now. Okay, you can see that the orb clusters have formed in different spots tonight from last night. They rearranged themselves. You can check out my video once YouTube uploads it in a day or two, and you'll see that they're not in the same locations, and that they're always moving around. And rocks and mountains and canyons and craters don't do that. They stay in one spot. But these things move around all over daily, if not hourly. And inside, those things, the orb clusters are moving constantly, 24/7, non-stop for eons. Who knows how long. Look at that movement. That's amazing. Something is really wrong with everything. It's scary. It's scary. Because this is not supposed to be happening. This is scary. See, now it's just in a hover. I should have moved off the screen by now. I'm at least at 80x. I should have moved off the screen by now. I'm going to go closer just to check some things out. Over here, those two that are just hanging off. And there. You can see they're above everything else. You can see the structures. There's a lot of structures. There's a lot of geometry all over. A lot of geometric shapes if you take a close look. A lot of hexahedron shapes. All those black things on the bottom have hexahedron shapes, like the ones, the big one on the left hand corner, that's kind of light, dark, or it's really black, but it's emitting so much light it's lighter. But these black ones, you look at the bottom of them, they're hexahedron in shape. And like I said last night, these orbs use their own body mass to construct structures. They can use other things too, but when all you have is the body mass, as they do in the moon hologram, then they use that. The whole thing is like a genetically engineered super machine that's a living organism composed of many other living organisms. And each one of those organisms is tied into the whole, and the whole to each organism. So they can work independently, the smaller ones, or they work as one organism all together. So it's a unique setup. Look at those jumps that thing is making. Unreal. That's something else. I even have to like just get that close enough so that you can see the little orbs. They're not that little. They're probably miles long. Yeah. See, celestial objects do not go opposite their orbital patterns. Only technical and intelligently controlled objects can go opposite, in the opposite direction of an orbital pattern, if they have the energy strong enough to do that. And obviously these guys do. So like I said, these orbs are like insect type organisms. That's all I can equate them to, is insects, because their social structure, their behavior, just everything about them spells insects to me. And I'm very familiar with insects, so I can equate their social and every other kind of behavior to have a lot of similarities with an insect colony and an insect species. Just look at the geometric patterns there. Look at all the orb clusters, the large ones, the black ones, and the glowing ones. They're in pure plasma state. And there goes the moon hologram, doing the moon hologram dance. These orbs that just landed right there at the edge. They just came in. The moon hologram has been moving very erratically back and forth, backwards, up and down, not in its orbital pattern at all. And the whole thing's been very irregular, to say the least. I'm going to back up to get a better lighting situation. You can see that everything is very hexagonal, hexahedron-like. All those base points of those black structures are hexagonal. There's orbs above the structures. There are structures below. The whole thing is in layers of orb clusters, one on top of the other, billions of them. And the whole thing is made up of who knows how many orb clusters. It's a huge biomass. You can see the jerking around and the irregular movements. It just doesn't follow a true orbital path, like it's going backwards. Mostly it's been in a hover and jerking around like that. I already taken one video, now I'm taking another. It's very bright now. It was better before. It wasn't so bright. Before it was red and orange, so I got some good contrast. Right now it's too bright, but you can still see a lot of detail. Okay, I'll leave it there so you can see that area. Okay, I'm not touching the camera now. You can see the jerking around, back and forth. It's got very irregular movement for a heavenly or a celestial body. Nothing like it's supposed to be. There's a lot of geometric shapes on the hologram itself, or inside the hologram itself. Look at them all. And these are very tall structures on it. And you can see that some of the orb clusters are actually in a hover position above the surface of the hologram. There are no solid objects other than the biomass of these orbs. And you can see that the hologram, the moon hologram, is moving back and forth, and it's holding a hover, and it's not maintaining a good hover. I guess for a large object like that, it's very hard to keep a steady hover, and if you have a camera that can reach far enough and get close enough, then you can see the odd changes it makes and the corrections that it's making, and how it can't be the real moon and a real celestial object which follows a true orbital pattern, either around the planet or around the sun. And that's not what a normal pattern looks like. Whoa. I'm not touching the camera. I'm still not going to touch the camera, see if it'll come back. That green line is a force field around you. Right there. Nah, it doesn't want me to see them. But there they are. You look at all that movement. It just doesn't want to show them. Here they are. I have to move the camera. But all those just came in. Okay, those are all orb clusters, or I should say orb cluster shifts. Look, there's one moving. You see it? You see that one moving? Watch it moving. Okay, they're getting ready to go someplace else. All of those are in standby. They're in standby mode. Those ones too. They're all in standby mode. This video is so long I'm going to have to put it in 480 so it doesn't take 25 days to upload. I'm shooting in high definition 1920 by 1080 super fine quality. Maybe I'll just cut the video up and put it in a smaller format, high definition. But look at all of them at the edge, just ready to take off. And look at all that movement. Get even closer. And there. And just look at them. Just want to catch one shooting off to show that that's what's really happening. Just look at all that activity. That big white one, that's gonna go. That's getting ready to go. It's charging up. But I don't think my battery's gonna last long enough for it to charge up. I'll probably die first. So I'll just keep watching these. And hopefully it'll take off before my battery dies out. Look at the motion of the moon hologram. And look at all those orbs moving around. I gotta move it down. No, I'm not touching it, it's moving. Okay, I gotta move it back. I wanna catch that orb. Okay, the battery's gonna go before that thing's ready to take off. But it's charging up. It's gonna charge up, and then just shoot out like so fast. Like a shooting star, and it'll just vanish. And look at the ones at the end. Alright, they're at the edges. Look how many there are. Look at these. These are gonna go too. They're smaller. And they either just landed or they're gonna take off. And now I'm not touching the camera, that's the hologram moving. Let's see this black one. Boy, they're in a high activity state tonight. I wonder where they're going. Hopefully not down here. Look at it. Look at the energy. You see the energy? Okay. They're gonna go. You see that energy? Look at it. So they're really charging up. I'm gonna lock this in place. I'll skip that big white one.